Why would I be looking only for
What?
Hays Code films? Read my mind.
Well, possibly because you're looking at what they managed to slip into movies that are adhering to a censorship code. Maybe. Could
You
that be
clearly
it?
have not. No, that's not at all what I wanted to do. I wanted the censorship. I I was sick. I wanted romance. I wanted pretty dresses. I wanted, it's like I don't think I started with Doris Day. I started with a lot of Audrey Hepburn maybe, or and every single one of them, Hepburn was dressed a lot by Givenchy, right? I wanted women in beautiful clothes being taken care of by tall, handsome men. So I wanted that. I wanted code. I wanted censorship. I thought I was promised, thanks to the code, that I would be watching nothing but married couples being faithful to each other.
Happily married couples being completely faithful to each other.
That's what I wanted. I wanted marriage and fidelity and children, and the code promised me this.
Were they all wonderful trad wives who had no ambition besides the kitchen and babies?
I thought that's what I was getting. I mean, I grew up watching Bewitched.
Oh, I said, did the code protect us from 14th Amendment women?
I mean 19th.
19th, sorry.
I thought it would. I really, really thought it would, and I'm weeping into my glass now. It didn't. I'm devastated. The code was more like guidelines.
The pirates strike again.
They did. They did. Shall I tell you some of the horrors that I saw? Horrors. Yes. It was horrible. I'm not sure I can do it. Tell me what the Cary Grant one you watched.
Oh, so Dream Wife. That was the first one that I watched out of your Hays Code.
Oh, okay.
selection.
So maybe we should sort of set these up, and then tell them about that, right? So I'll okay. The way I found, like, the way I found my movies in Amazon Prime is I figured this is Hollywood of the star system, right? It's Hollywood of if you get a Cary Grant movie, it's going to have Cary Grant in it. Okay, that's a little simple, right? But it's going to have typecast characters doing their. What's funny is, so one of Casey in one of our chats today was saying, which is your favorite Cary Grant movie? Like, I have no idea. I only watched the ones that he was all the same in, right? And then if when I ran out of Cary Grant movies that weren't Hitchcock movies, I started watching Doris Day movies, and I found there was occasional overlaps. I think I missed the actual Doris Day Cary Grant overlap. I need to go back and watch that one. But then I found out Doris Day is often in movies with Rock Hudson, and there's always jokes in the Rock Hudson movies that he looks like Cary Grant or vice versa. It's like clearly these people were all interchangeable, sort of. But and you can just watch over. So this is but a mere sampling of the 20 odd movies that I managed to find by this serious scientific method of going by date and actor and actress. And for example, there's one, Rock Hudson and Doris Day in Pillow Talk, which
oh yes,
oh yes, with Tony Randall, who I thought, he always gets to have the sort of comic character in the. Would you like to guess? Oh wait, you watched that?
I didn't like that movie.
Why not? It's a romance.
I don't know. A few things about it bothered me.
Yeah. How about the fact that well, wait, what bothered it? But what bothered you about it?
The catfishing.
I don't even know what that means. What's catfishing?
So, catfishing is when people are on the internet pretending to be someone else.
Oh, that's right.
To hook someone in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did they have the internet when this one was made? I thought this was it's in color, so what? Catfishing, really?
This was Technicolor. So yeah, it was funny because I was watching this. I thought, oh my god, this is catfishing before the internet, when they only had landline telephone.
Catfishing before the internet. Okay.
Yeah, well, so the whole idea is that the two main characters are a man and a woman, Doris Day and Rock Hudson, who are sharing this party line, which is a telephone connection that they both have to share. I mean, that alone was funny, to sit there and watch their frustration of having to share a phone line. it's like looking at a completely different universe, isn't it? And so they're eavesdropping on each other's phone calls, and then Rock Hudson devises a scheme for a lot of reasons to try and get this woman under the pretext of pretending to be a completely different person and using a different accent. So he's catfishing her, and it was infuriating as I was watching it.
He catfishes her as a Texan. That infuriated me. His Texas caricature.
Go with the accent.
As well as Hollywood ever does with Texas accents. Yeah, that was hilarious. And the thing, the party line, you realize later in the way it's not even, they're not even in the same building. It's not like they had I don't even understand the problem, the tech problem of the party line. But yeah, okay, so she's listening into his calls. He's always picking up women. She gets mad at him. She has this housekeeper who is always drunk, right? The number of middle-aged drunken housekeepers I've seen over the last week. I thought the Brady Bunch housekeeper, she's typecast. She's just not drunk.
What was going on in the 50s? All these people with drunken housekeepers.
Drunken housekeepers. Oh, and how is it that she needs a housekeeper? Does she have a family?
No. No, she was a single professional woman.
Single professional woman. See, I thought
she was strong, independent female.
Strong, independent female who's not going to be taken in except for by
some guy who's catfishing.
But so the catfishing is like, he's Texan, but is that the strength of his catfishing? Is it just that he's Texan?
Good question.
I got confused because there is actually a fishing movie that I watched a few weeks ago. I think not in this binge, that was about fishing, and now I can't remember. I think that was one of the Cary Grant ones, and he's a fisherman who can't fish. Right, and this guy, the Rock Hudson character, is the Texan they're all bumbling fools, right? So the professional woman gets catfished by tall, handsome man. We know Rock Hudson, don't worry about it. This is on-screen character who pretends to be incompetent.
Okay, so this is what bothers me about it. In order to get her attention, he has to act incompetent.
She doesn't want him as the playboy character, obviously, because she's Doris Day. She's virtuous. Right, so she's not going to be crooned over by he's a songwriter, right? He's not going to be crooned over by she's not going to be crooned over him by his song that he is inspired by every woman that he meets and adds her name in. He has to be the honest Texan who needs help in the big city, which then gives her strength to what happened to strong men sweeping women off their feet? It doesn't seem to happen in these Doris Day movies, that's for sure.
Well, isn't this shocking? Because I thought that's what was happening in the 1950s.
You'd think, from the way we're supposed to have to fight the code, fight the Hays Code time when everybody was, supposedly being forced to be virtuous in the entertainment industry, at least on camera.
He pretends to be incompetent, and then gets her attention because he's an idiot.
On to the next one.
What you've told me.
Like you could tell they kiss. No, the other thing that's interesting about all of these movies end quite abruptly, right? The ending comes and bango. So in fact, you fall asleep even minutes before the end. You're not really sure how it ended. There's never any big denouement or anything. Okay, so another one I watched. Then I'm on my Doris Day ones. This one was the Glass Bottom Boat. And she, in her opening scene, is in a mermaid outfit and gets snagged by the guy who is fishing. So there's more fishing here. But it turns out that he is an astronaut and she actually works at NASA as a tour guide or something, and gets tangled up in all of this because he decides, in fact, to try to catch her, and finds out all about her, and then pretends to like things that she does and so forth. And it was moderately fun because there's a fair amount of slapstick in it, although a little over the top, right? She's too super clumsy and everything keeps breaking, and NASA decides that she's a spy, etc. Mayhem. I think the guy playing the astronaut guy is Australian, so that was nice. You didn't watch this one?
No, I didn't see
Okay.
that. I saw the trailer.
So I think that
the woman's voice annoyed me, so I didn't watch the film.
No. Okay, so I told you which ones I'd watched. Pillow Talk got you, and you stayed through 75 minutes of it. The Spy Who Came. It's not called The Spy Who Came Out of the Wave. It's The Glass Bottom Boat. It had some pretty cute songs. Okay, and then another Doris Day one. Now this one, The Pajama Game. Mm-hmm. It was an interesting one. It's got the raciest little. She's got no pajama bottoms on in the poster. What do you gather from a poster which has a woman in no pajamas on? If I just tell you that, is this movie about? I mean, Pillow Talk was about his catfishing her and trying to talk her into bed with him.
Tell everyone they want to get her pants off without saying it overtly.
Interestingly, this one's about a pajama factory. and she is the complaint representative for the union. It's actually a story about the union trying to organize to get 7.5 cents for the hour raise, and she's the union representative. Talk about strong working woman, and her romantic interest in this one is the management, but had worked up from the. So this is actually a labor dispute musical.
So it's left wing, right wing.
Not even that. There's just the bad guy, owner of the pajama factory that has to they have to beat and everything. However, the funniest thing for me about this, there were two things that happened while I was watching it. One, it's a musical, so basically most of it's all singing. And oddly enough, I realized I'd heard most of these songs. I had no idea this movie existed or the show or anything like that. And I'm sitting there going, I know all of these songs, which I'm not going to sing because of my voice. There's one incredibly extended sequence where they have the worker picnic along the river, and they're all polkaing and dancing, and it's a beautiful day, and it's a love song, and there's all this very, very beautiful balletic level dancing. But it's in fact about a union, pajama factory, right? The one I'm really wondering why I know this song, because there's one about the Club Hernando's where they have to go and nobody knows their name, and it's like a kind of a Spanish style song, and I knew that song really, really well. I didn't know how I knew it at all, so it somehow seeped into our cultural knowledge, but not fully. And the other thing is, I was watching all these dances, and I thought, gee, and for some reason, just out of the blue, popped into my head Bob Fosse. Now, Bob Fosse was famous to me because he choreographed a very racy movie that I saw in college called All That Jazz. Did you ever see that? Mm-hmm. You did? No.
You mean like Chicago?
No, it's called All That Jazz. Okay. And the trope about it is a guy talking about how he's dying, and so it introduces the Elizabeth Kubler-Ross stages of dying, anger, bargaining, depression, denial.
Oh, the 7 stages of grief.
Yeah, yes. It's 5, right? Yes. Anger, denial, yes. Bargaining, depression, acceptance, or something like that. And in the midst of it, they're interspersed this attempt to have this show go on, this production, and the dancers rehearsing and stuff like that. And that one was all choreographed by Bob Fosse. It's like his masterpiece level. And I'm like, why? When I'm watching the Pajama Game and this wholesome, picnic on the water, and I'm suddenly thinking of Bob Fosse and All That Jazz. Pajama Game was was his first movie.
Interesting. Yeah. So that was his breakup.
Yes. So now we've got catfishing, we've got working women, we've got the
union labor.
We've got Bob Fosse. I mean, come on, if you've ever seen All That Jazz, there's one scene where they're doing this. They're all in body leotards, and they're all with blood vessels, right? It's very heart pumpy kind of. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, it was so sexy and erotic, and in the story of the film, so incredibly obscene and scandalous that when the dancers perform it for the production people in the movie, afterwards the dancers are all just panting because they've been working so hard, and the promoters of the show are going, we can't use it.